Welcome back to another edition of Grizzlies Daily. I'm your host, Malik. Let's just jump straight into it. Obviously, if you do not know, the Dallas Mavericks have the number one overall pick in the draft, and Giannis Antetokounmpo is looking to. Well, let me rephrase this. Giannis is looking in the possibility of leaving the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Dallas Mavericks have become a front runner for getting Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, with that being said, it has come reports have come out that Dallas is prepared to keep the number one pick. So it looks like they'll stick with their future of building around Cooper Flag. Now, my personal thoughts on it, I think in hindsight it is an interesting move because you have Giannis, a possibility of getting Giannis, and then you have a short championship window with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis. But I do think in hindsight it is a smart move. Just build around Cooper Flag, see what he turns out. He should develop into a good talent in the league. Now, from what GMs are saying, they don't believe he's on the same level as Victor. I don't think he is either. I think he has the possibility of being on a similar level. But Victor Wembanyama is just he's insane. He's an alien. So I think comparing him to that is an interesting take in itself. So I wouldn't expect much to come from that. I mean, Cooper Flag is going to pan out to be a great player, but for right now, doesn't look like anybody's making a move towards Giannis, or if Giannis is really even looking to be moved. But that's just the latest update on it. So Giannis to Dallas, strong possibility it will not happen. Obviously, when it comes to the Giannis sweepstakes, Houston is a favorite to land him if he does leave Milwaukee, but I have put my 2 cents in that the Grizzlies should make a trade for him, and I'm not the only one. So Gigi Jackson actually joined the Run It Back podcast on FanDuel Network with Chandler Parsons and Lou Williams and Michelle Beadle, and they actually asked him on the possibility of joining Giannis, and he simply put, the Grizzlies should take it. Now, I wholeheartedly agree that they should launch the opportunity to make that trade or make the deal, whatever. Now, I see a lot of people they're joking in the comments that GG doesn't understand that in a deal for Giannis, he probably will get traded. I don't think so. I think if the Grizzlies are able to make a move for Giannis, Gigi wouldn't be involved. I think Giannis would be the kind of person that would advocate for the Grizzlies to keep Gigi. I mean, you look at it, Gigi reminds you of a lot of players. I mean, to me, I think he has the. I think when I look at his game, if we're comparing the Bucks, he has a possibility of being on a similar level to Chris Middleton. Just their game, their jumpers. It's a good. It's just the way they move. Now, Gigi is a little bit more athletic, but he has the ability to bring a similar role to how Chris Middleton was. But obviously, you still got John Morant and company. So I don't think. I think the Grizzlies once again should make that move, and it's good to hear that Gigi Jackson is speaking on the possibility of it. I mean, so it's clear that they're considering the idea. The players are speaking on it. It's just a matter of what management decides to do. So that'll be something interesting to keep an eye on. Something else to keep an eye on. If you don't know, the Warriors are out of the playoffs. They lost in 5 games to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, Steph Curry played game one, and then he didn't play the rest of the series to a hamstring injury. And now that puts things in a tight spot for the Warriors. I mean, in the playoffs, Jonathan Kaminga, well, really before the playoffs and some going into the playoffs, Jonathan Kaminga was not getting playing time at all. I still don't know why, because he's provided great minutes when he plays. And sure enough, in the playoffs, Steve Kerr finally plays Jonathan Kaminga. He's the best scorer on the floor, which I got to be honest, I can't say I didn't expect. People have to understand. I have seen Jimmy Butler in Miami because at one point I was a Miami supporter. I was a heavy Jimmy Butler supporter, and still am. But one thing about it, Jimmy is not the same Jimmy when he's hurt. Like clearly in the Houston series when he got hurt, I could tell Jimmy was never going to be the same. Jimmy wasn't going to be that takeover Jimmy, playoff Jimmy that we always saw. That wasn't happening. Once he's hurt, He tries to play through it, and sometimes it can hurt or help the team. In this case, it helped the team, but in a way, it hurt them because in games that were easily winnable for the Warriors, you look at the box score, Jimmy's only taking like 9, 10 shots. I mean, I believe game four, I looked at the box score to game four. Draymond Green shot 14 shots. Jimmy Butler shot 9. That's a problem. I'm sorry. That is a problem. Draymond Green shooting more shots than Jimmy Butler in 2025 is a problem for anyone. But that's beyond the point. Jonathan Mean finally plays, and he's the best scorer on the floor. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, "Oh wow, why isn't Kuminga playing?" I've been wondering that same thing. Anytime the Warriors need a spark on the floor, I mean, it's just surprising. I wish I knew the answer, and clearly Steve Kerr doesn't have an answer, or not one that I've seen. But it's no reason why in 2025, Pat Spencer and Guy Santos is getting in the game before Jonathan Kuminga. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. And I'm not talking minutes wise. I'm talking about just in general, just touching the floor at a certain time, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It really does not. So, with that being said, it has come out that the Warriors. I'm pulling up this report right now. This is from Anthony Slater. Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors are expected to explore sign and trade scenarios. This is something the Grizzlies should absolutely get on. I've spoken on off-season targets for the Grizzlies and who they should bring in, what kind of depth they should bring off the bench. And honestly, not even off the bench. If you go for a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, he can start instantly. Let's just being real. He has that ability to start instantly. I mean, you got a guy whose game reminds me of a GG Jackson. He can slash, he can push the pace, he can get you a good jump when you need it. He brings high level energy when it comes to defense. Jonathan Kuminga is a guy that 29, and I say 29 because the Warriors have him, but 29 out of 30 teams want a guy like Jonathan Kuminga. It's just that simple. He's always had the talent, and he's proven it. So for the Warriors to not utilize that, I really think it's going to hurt them in the long run. And if the Grizzlies are able to get on that, it's going to speak volumes. His game is going to speak volumes on the team. So hopefully they explore some options. Yeah, I really do think they should explore that. I still think, if I'm being honest, if it comes down to Jonathan Kuminga and Cam Johnson, I give the slight edge to Kuminga, but I would still love the Grizzlies to target at least one of the two. Move the roster around. It is no point to hold on to the same roster after what's happened. It's just that simple. And honestly, this is something that I'm going to be following. There are no reports on the Grizzlies really contacting the Warriors on it, but the season is over, so everything happens behind closed doors. So it'll be something definitely to look out for. But switching gears, back to GG Jackson on the running back podcast. He actually said a few things that were pretty interesting. So one of the things that he said during the show, and this is basically just him on the show because this was one of the talkers for like the past day or two. He if you remember correctly, after John Morant's game winner against the Miami Heat, he called Khalil Ware a pigeon. Well, Gigi Jackson has confirmed to us that pigeons they call out pigeons as the players the Grizzlies hunt on offense. So, for example, a Nikola Jokic, a Steph Curry, and apparently for the Thunder, Isaiah Joe. So pigeons are simply the guys that they attack on offense, which makes sense in hindsight. But my 2 cents on it, I definitely do think this is something you might want to. This is something you'd keep. This is something you'd keep in the archives. You shouldn't say this. You don't say that. It's just that simple. You don't say this kind of thing. You keep this on the low. I just don't think that's something that you'd want other teams to know, especially with the Grizzlies being a team that people kind of frown upon for really having that don't don't care attitude. We're gonna attack you kind of thing. It puts a target on their back. It really does, and it just I don't know. I mean, hey, I can't speak for him. I know Gigi's just having fun, so that's just my personal opinion. But all in all, I don't think it'll mean much. It's just I think an overall funny clip. But something else that Gigi actually touched on that's I think should be talked about. And I'm glad someone said it because I've had to deal with multiple people on Grizzlies Twitter just not understanding that the players really do love John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. When it came to excuse me, when it came to that conversation, when was asked about John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., Gigi said, "quote Guys are gonna do what's best for their families, but if we stick together and iron the wrinkles out, we can definitely make a farther push in the playoffs." And he simply said he can't imagine a world where John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. aren't on the Memphis Grizzlies. And this is something that I have been preaching because people have their frustrations with Ja and Jaren, but when it comes to the identity of the team, they are the identity. I mean, I've had to hear people when the Rockets were in the playoffs, Dylan Brooks and Steven Adams were the culture, and we traded them away. Well, you're trading the culture right there. That is the culture. So why would you want that to be getting? Why would you want that gone? I never understood that argument, and that's something that I've had to listen to constantly, and it never made sense to me. You're upset that they traded a guy that shot 35% in the playoffs, and you're upset they also traded another guy that was out for 2 years in a row because he skipped a surgery on a PCL injury. But you want us to trade the guy that has brought us multiple wins, so much national attention, and a guy that's a DPOY and a two-time All-Star. Like, make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad Gigi finally spoke on it because it never made sense to me at all. The team just needs more depth around them. And like you said, if they stick together, they will win a championship. And people don't understand with the CBA, teams are meant to. It makes it harder for smaller market teams. So trading away and going all in on a ring, a 1 year ring, and all that. That's literally what that's what it comes down to. Because I'm telling you right now, with this new CBA, it you want to build, and that's why I don't give Zach Kleiman too much flack because I understand the new CBA makes it difficult for teams to build if you don't have drafted talent. I mean, you got to think about it. The Boston Celtics, they have drafted talent, but all those guys around them that they brought in a couple off seasons ago, they're possibly not even going to be there anymore. And it's just like I think people need to understand that. And I'm glad Gigi spoke on it because I got tired of saying it. I know other people got tired of saying it. Like it's okay to have an opinion, but let's at least use some logic with the opinion. So good to know that the players speak highly of Ja and Jaren, and that the possibility of them going anywhere is slim. So that's a good thing to hear. Obviously, with Jaren's contract situation, we're gonna keep up to date on that and hear things about it. But for right now, everyone's in good spirits when it comes to those two, so that's good. And speaking of Ja Morant, if you don't know or if you're a fan of Ja Morant's shoes, he is dropping. Well, Nike is dropping the Ja Morant collab with Kool-Aid. It's a very, very nice collab. I like the presence to detail. That's one thing about Ja Morant's shoes. This is the Ja 2. This is the Ja 2 shoe. Um, I've always liked the attention to detail when it comes to Nike and Ja Morant shoes. The Kool-Aid color is very vibrant, very reminds me of another colorway that he has with the Ja 1. I believe it's like the scratch colorway. I could be wrong, but I definitely do like it. And on Twitter, we got to look at one of the. I'm trying to think of the word that I'm here. Uh, and I actually just read the packaging, the Kool Aid packaging that it comes in. If you remember, the Kool Aid powder comes in you can get it in a big jar, right? So it basically has the shoes in that big jar, but on the side of the nutrition label, it has just facts about John Morant, And one of the things that I find very interesting, obviously, it has like his draft year, his accolades, career highs, and stuff like that. But one thing I find, what I chuckled at, um, there's a section that says controversy occasional. I love that Nike is playing along with the controversy aspect because he clearly, that's what people are looking for when it comes to Ja Morant. Controversy. Ja is controversy, is what some people say. So that's good to see that Nike is playing along with that, which is something that I've always been an advocate for. That Nike needs to play along with that if they want to promote Ja, because I mean we see Adidas. Anytime Anthony Edwards does anything, they're quick to get on it. That is one thing I will give Adidas credit for. They know how to market Anthony Edwards, and they know how to market the audience around him. And clearly, it is working. A lot of people wear the Anthony Edwards shoe. A lot of people love the marketing that they do around Anthony Edwards shoe. So it's good to see that Nike is finally doing something similar to it. Hopefully, they do a little bit more with it. But I do like this step in sending the shoe to influencers and promoting it. Now, if you do want it for yourself, this does release Friday, and I believe it will be $130 according to Nike. The only thing is, I don't believe that the Kool-Aid box comes with it. It'll probably come in a customized job box that most shoes have when you order them from Nike. So yeah, $130. It'll more likely be at Nike, Foot Locker, and all those kind of stores. So if you want your hands on them, make sure to get them. I honestly might have to get a pair. I have two pairs of Jaws, but I gotta be honest, I don't really wear them that much because Ja Morant shoes, if you have wide feet, you might know what I'm talking about. You have to really break those shoes in. So sometimes they can be uncomfortable, but I got to be honest, just off the presentation and colorway, might have to get me a pair just because and just hang it somewhere. Just have them just to say I have them. But as far as that, just in other news before I head out of here, when it comes to the TJ Shorts situation, no real update on that. So that'll be something that I kind of look into. But as of right now, the Grizzlies have had no agreement with Shorts as far as the Summer League contract. So yeah, hopefully we hear something soon on that. And also trying to put the pieces together because I just had it in my head. Give me just 1 second. I was just thinking about it. And it was going to be the last thing that I said. I hate that. That's the thing about this. This is uncut. So give me just 1 second to really think about it. Honestly, I've lost a train of thought. But when it comes to Grizzlies news, y'all make sure you turn on those post notifications, subscribe to the YouTube channel Grizzlies Daily, and follow me on all my social medias. We're gonna be staying in touch with all the news, Giannis, Shanta Kaminga, all that. GG Jackson offseason workouts, Zach Edey development, all that stuff. So I'm gonna be on top of all that. So make sure y'all stay in tune. And hey, leave your opinions in the comments or social media. I'm gonna be looking at everything. So I really want to hear from y'all, really do. So if y'all want to hear me talk about anything, make sure to put it in the comments. I'll definitely get on it, do my research, and let y'all know about it. Until then, I will see y'all in the next video, and stay blessed.